Welcome to another match preview here on Stones TV and the Maidstone United podcast, where we look ahead to our latest return league home game. And it's the midweek visit of the league leaders at time of recording. It's a nut the Stones have seldom cracked. It's those Wanderers from Dorking. So the comings and goings since our last meeting. Will Randall came in on loan immediately after our meeting, having featured in half a dozen games. He's since moved on to Wealdstone from Ebbsfleet. Young midfielder Morgan Williams joined on loan the next day from AFC Wimbledon, eventually extending that short-term loan through to the end of the season. Seb Bowerman left the club after a 2-year spell due to the demands of full-time training alongside both of his jobs. Magnus Norman signed following his release from Oldham, having been on loan at Ebbsfleet this season. James McShane and Luke Moore went out on loan in the new year to aid their injury recoveries. McShane initially joined Horsham and more recently he's been at Kingstonian, whilst Moore spent time at Ashford United. Jack Young's loan was extended with the Wanderers of Dorking from those of Wycombe until the end of the season, and the most recent transfer news at time of recording is the contract extension of in-form striker Alfie Rutherford, who will stay at Meadowbank until the end of next season. So Nigel, despite the well-documented injury issues they have had, there's not been too many trades made by Mark White since last we met, but Rutherford's signing for next season could be the masterstroke come the end of the season, couldn't it?
Yeah, and that's the MO of Dorking, isn't it? They don't. There's never been a great turnover of players, even when they've been coming out through the leagues. You know, a lot of teams swap and change players, but they go with their old favourites. And you know, you just mentioned the names there, the players that have come in. Morgan Williams, you know, been very influential in them, in getting them up the table, and you know, he's getting all the plaudits, and along with the favourites that we all know, Alfie Rutherfords and Jason Pryor's, they're all still there, and you know, they're obviously doing a good job because you know they've gone on a hell of a run. You had that injury spell where they lost a lot of players and they weren't getting the results they wanted to get, and they had their customary FA Cup loss to Horsham, didn't they?
Of course.
Sorry, they're Dorking fans, but it seems to be ever present these days, isn't it? Lost to Horsham.
We know the feeling.
And I say that the new additions they brought in since they've been relegated, like Callum Camp, he scored the goal, didn't he, on that Tuesday night down there when we played them before Christmas. So yeah, they don't make many signings, but the signings they do make come in and have a positive influence on the team, don't they? So again, that's probably helped them with their continuity and getting them, playing the Dorking way, and getting themselves up the table.
You've mentioned some of those key men for me, Nigel, so I'll rattle through this as is because some of those crucial players, key men for them. Harrison Fawkes has 11 clean sheets at time of recording. Brennan Camp, one of the league's top scoring defenders, having scored against the Stones in the reverse fixture, we've already mentioned. That was one of his 6 goals so far this season at time of recording. He most recently netted again against Farnborough. 3 of his 6 goals have come against that same club this season, so can we play you every week? I'm sure is in his contract. Club captain Charlie Carter has 9 goals from midfield so far, and up front, the 2 we've mentioned, Jason Price got 11, and only 2 of those have been on the road. And Alfie Rutherford, a previous winner of the National League South Golden Boot, is making possibly a late dash for the line again. 3 goals in the month of February and 15 overall. All those stats, of course, at time of recording before their game on Saturday with Chelmsford. So, Nigel, big names, we've already alluded some of them there. They've dragged them through the injury crisis and up the top of the tree at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, it's not difficult. I'm sure we've all seen the bunch of amateurs videos, and Mark White is very vocal in his press conferences. He does a pre-match press conference and a post-match press conference, and he's been very vocal. But one thing that they have got is this consistency, the way they play. You know what I mean? And that's drummed into them. And yeah, it's just a sort of like all the teams, looking for that formula, really, aren't they? A winning mentality. It's definitely the Dorking way.
So the visitors' form since our last meeting, Eastbourne Borough put the Wanderers out of the FA Trophy on penalties after we last met. They will have played 21 games in the league by the time we play on Tuesday. They hosted Chelmsford on Saturday, and as we recorded before then, we do not have that result. So the other 20 league games have seen the Wanderers accrue 43 of 60 points, as many as anyone else in the division in that same period. And they also haven't lost on the road in the league in 4 months since a narrow defeat at Slough Town just 1 week after our last meeting with Mark White's men. They've moved from 7th after our last head-to-head up into 1st, where they have been since the 1st of February. So Nigel, they've been on a great run of form and they're top on merit, aren't they?
But we've mentioned it before, haven't we? You know, in all of our sort of pods, this is their sort of like, this is going to be their run of games where it's going to be decisive, isn't it? They've got, you know, either side of this game, they've got to play Torquay and Bournemouth, is it? They've got to play, I think, something like that.
So, near the end as well.
You know, so they've definitely got a tough run in on paper, but again, it's like we say, isn't it? That continuity in the squad. You know, everybody, and it's not just about the 11 that play. You know, if you can affect a game from coming off the bench as well, this time of the season, that's going to be key, I think. And I can, you know, we've said it about Worthing, haven't we? But they've been sort of like our closest rivals these last few years, haven't they? They were obviously our main rival when we won the National League South. We just managed to pip them that season, and they did come up with us, and they've virtually followed us down and been a rival ever since. So, yeah, it's just one of those good battles that, you know, you look forward to, and it's one of those fixtures that when the fixture lists come out, you know, you look for the Dorking games, don't you? And it's much anticipated, and it's just hopefully that we can, you know, perform to our maximum, and it can be a good game of football.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So if you can't remember all of the players from the previous meeting back in November, then why not head back to our previous preview video and podcast from this season for more information on Tuesday's opponents. The links to the video and podcast are both in the description below. And if you can't make it to the game on Tuesday, be sure to tune in to myself and Nigel. We'll be on air on Stones Live from 7:30, as well as on DAZN, and National League TV will be there for that as well. You'll see us on the hot take and then hear us on the highlights once they go online. So another big night under the lights, the final time in the league season proper. Another 6-pointer. Big games don't get bigger than this. Probably can't say that because of Greg anymore, until the one after, usually. Regardless, it's a clash that rarely disappoints the neutral, and Tuesday should be no exception. The Stones looking for a first league win in this fixture. Let's hear that Gallagher roar push the side onward on Tuesday. Our thanks to you all out there, as ever, for watching or listening to the latest preview. Like and subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just type in the Maidstone United podcast. It'll pop up, you'll have a listen, it'll be fine. Honest. See or hear you for our next preview ahead of the return home league game against Chippenham Town. And as always,
come on you Stones!